Hi, this is Margo. This is Sunday evening, December the 26th, 2021. I hope everyone is safe and doing as well as possible, and that you had a safe and good Christmas. Merry Christmas. I don't celebrate Christmas per se, but I do celebrate the birth of Christ. So, I honor Christ and as my Lord and Savior, and He's coming back soon, and we're in the end times. We're getting closer every day, and this is why I'm doing these shows. So we're going to be going over methane and sea ice and some earthquakes, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the show tonight. This will be my weekly update that I'll be putting on YouTube. So we're starting out with the methane data. I've got 2 days worth of NOAA data to show. Starting out with the 24th, which was Friday. This is for the MET-OP-1, aka MET-OP-B satellite in the morning, for the 477/469 millibar reading. The mean or average was 1919 parts per billion. The high reading was 2489. In the afternoon, the mean was 1920. Now that's a jump. We haven't seen it this high in a while. And the high reading was 2386. Then for yesterday, the 25th, for the morning, the mean was 1917. The high reading was 2378. And then in the afternoon, the mean was 1919. And the high reading was 2432. Here's the spreadsheet where we're tracking all of this. So on the 24th, it averages out to be 1919.5 parts per billion, which it's been going up this week. I'll go over all of that in a minute. So that was an increase over the day before of 1.5 parts per billion. As of the 24th, we had gone up 6 parts per billion this week, and we were 27 parts per billion higher than a year ago. Then the 25th averages out to be 1918, so that was a decrease of 1.5, giving us an overall increase for the week of 4.5, and we're still 27 parts per billion higher than a year ago. So while we're here, I'll show you what happened this week. So here we were in my show last Sunday. We had the data for Saturday the 18th at 1913.5. So that was a decrease of 2 for that day, and an overall decrease of 5 parts per billion for the week. Then Sunday it stayed the same. Monday it jumped 2 parts per billion up. Tuesday stayed the same. Wednesday another jump of 2.5. Thursday no change. Friday another increase of 1.5. And then Saturday it went down 1.5. So all week it's been on the increase. So here we are with our chart, and here it is at 1918, showing an increase this week of 4.5. And here's the blue line going back up here. Now, have we bottomed out? Have we reached our lowest point for this year or for this season? I don't know. It could be. In 2019, we bottomed out on December the 28th, and then the 2020 season, we bottomed out actually in early January of 2021. So I don't know. We're just in no man's land. But it's not good for it to be going up like that in the middle of winter. Is just not good. Now, I've been tracking this since March of 2019. So here, December 28th, 2019, it bottomed out at 1872. Then the next week, it went up 4.5. Now, see, it had been going down a few weeks. It had been stair-stepping down since October the 12th. That's when it peaked out that year. Then in 2020, it peaked out on the 25th, September 25th and October 23rd. And then it bottomed out here on January the 12th, 2021. So it was steadily going down. We had just a couple of weeks where it went up, but see, the week of the 26th, December 26th, it went down 8.5 that week. So I don't know. We may have already bottomed out, in which case it's very bad news. And we're 27 parts per billion higher than a year ago. That's unheard of. We're in no man's land. We're in uncharted territory, and things are not looking good for planet Earth. Now we'll go over the CAMS data. I have Saturday the 25th pulled up, Arctic view, and surface level. Now remember, we've got that new data set that we're looking through from CAMS. Here's our color ledger. So the data is for Saturday, and the forecast period is Sunday through Wednesday. So we've got a couple of things pretty disturbing here in the Arctic. We've got combs and mollets. Look at this just swirling up from Russia. See this dark wave now move out. And then look at the kaleidoscope as it goes out. And then it's high here in the Laptev Sea too. But it flings out. Watch. It's like this wave. It just opens up all the way across. And that's coming up through the sea ice. And this area of Russia is colder than normal right now. I can show you on Climate Reanalyzer. So this is pretty disturbing. See, that area, well, there's a little brown, but it's mainly blue around there. A little bit of brown. It's not even red. and in the 2-meter temperature anomaly. So that's quite disturbing. And I'll show you, if we move, we've got the Sunday data, and so here's what it's doing today. See that dark wave, and that's in the highest reading, so that's anywhere between 2160 to 10,000 parts per billion. There's just streaming out. Look at Comsomol, it's blowing whatever. I mean, I think we just have methane blowouts through Russia with through the permafrost, and also in the Arctic Ocean and this out of the seabed. I think that's what we're seeing here. So we'll go back to Saturday. Now we'll look at the North Pole view. See, this is a huge area. See the wave? There it goes. Like a kaleidoscope. Just unleashing. Here's India filled up. And see it spilling out in the Bengal Bay. Here's China filling up. Look, it's got a dark wave moving out. And then Europe. There's the Persian Gulf. Now, here in North America, see, we've got those dark waves moving out too. Now we'll look at the Antarctic. Oh, too far. So here with the new data set, we're seeing higher readings. Now this blue is 1820 parts per billion. This next blue up, the brighter aqua, is 1840. So we can see the 1820 is now creeping in more over the Antarctic. So what it seems like is the southern hemisphere is going down in methane, and then the northern hemisphere is going up, and it's got to be going up exponentially for us to have an increase like we're seeing. And Russia, that area in Russia just looks awful. Now we'll go to the global view. See, that's a huge area that's just moving out. See the red move out all the way across the Arctic. We're starting to see a little bit of the navy blue pop up. That's 1800 parts per billion. Here it is in the Pacific and here in the Indian Ocean. Here's 500 HPA. So this is about halfway up in the atmosphere. Look at this darkest color just gathering over this northern area. We've got reds over South America and Africa, so the reds are further south. Here's total column. And here's the heaviest over China. Got some over India. And then lots of reds across the northern hemisphere and sea over the interior of South America too. Alright, let's move on. Close that out. Let's go ahead and look at these other pictures for today. This is sulfur dioxide today. And here it is at 500 HPA. We've got the highest reading down here in the South Pacific. Right down here, there's been a volcano going off at Tonga. And it's an underwater volcano that's been going off, I think, since Monday. And it's been releasing a lot of sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere. Here it is at 500 HPA. We can see it's still pulsing. It's intermittent, but it is still going. Here's the Antarctic with ozone. We can see the danger zone hole has now closed up completely. We're still seeing a lot of thin ozone over from the midline east. Here's the Arctic ozone. We can see it's thin over Greenland and part of the Baffin Bay and down into Canada, and then north of Greenland too. We've got a really heavy area from China up to Russia and up into the Arctic. Here's the global view. See this break down here in the South Atlantic. It goes all the way up. And then it's thin all around the mid-latitudes. Anything green is thin, green and under. Alright, now I just wanted to go over a little bit of volcano stuff. This was from La Palma. They posted this yesterday. They're saying the eruptive episode ended after almost 3 months, and that's what it looks like now. It's still kind of smoky. the Instituto Geográfico Nacional Volcano Observatory confirmed that the activity of the volcano ended on December 13th at 22:21 local time. The eruption that started on September 19th lasted exactly 85 days and 8 hours. The activity was dominated by strombolian activity and lava fountaining episodes. The low-level seismic activity continues, including no signs of tremor signals, although quakes are not ruled out. The newly born basaltic scoria cone has reached 1,121 meters altitude, with an estimated volume of about 200 million cubic meters of lava and tephra. So that's their latest posting. And here on EMSC, it's showing 15 earthquakes in the last 24 hours there. And we can see the movement has spread out. Here's La Palma, and it's spread out down to Cruz Tenerife on either side of that little island. And they're mainly in the 2s range. And then here's the Tonga volcano, Hunga Haipai volcano news. They've got a whole page of these updates, and these are ash advisories, and sees still cyclic eruption to 10,000 feet or 30,000 meters. So it's erupting, not continuously, but it's cyclical. But let's see where it started. Here it was. This was the day it started. I think. Yeah. Sunday. Yeah. And so this was on the 19th. And this is coming up from out of the water. Big plume. And I've been tracking this on Zoom Earth. See, here's another plume there. It's right down here. Here's anyway, I've got the heat layer turned on. It was still pluming. There it was, the 23rd. Look at that. You see the plumes coming up. Look at this. That was the day it blew up. That was on the 19th, which was last Sunday. And it blew up about 12:30 my time. Here it is in the ocean. And see, you can increase it by 10 minutes. There's where it started at 12:30, and then 10 minutes later, look how high it had gone. There it was, the big where it's like bursting out. See, isn't that interesting? So I've been watching this all week and reporting on it. Here's where it really ballooned up that afternoon. So it's been releasing a lot of sulfur dioxide. There it was. See the plume there on the 21st. Here's a tiny one on the 22nd. Here's the 23rd. See? So it's still going. It's just off and on. And then there are a bunch of clouds there today. So there's that. Let's go through Climate Reanalyzer. So we saw the Arctic. We've got a little bit of red here above Ellesmere Island. And it's been red over Greenland and the Baffin Bay this week. Look, it's red over Alaska. It's actually raining over Alaska right now. See all this cold air swooping down into Canada and the northwest. Then we've got this hot, the red from Texas all the way over. And see all these blues. Most of Russia is in the blue. Got a little bit in the browns. Worldwide, we're up 0.2 C higher than normal. The northern hemisphere is up 0.4 C. The Arctic is up 0.5 C. Antarctic is up 0.8 C. The southern hemisphere is in balance, and the tropics are up 0.3 C. Here's precipitation and clouds. So we've got rain almost up to Iceland right there. Here's the rain in Alaska, and here's the rain and snow. We've got another system moving in. We've had rain and snow where I live in the Reno area. Here are the jet pieces. See the big loop there? Now look at this. See, this is part of the northern hemisphere. See how it goes down? The equator is right through here. So it dips down at forks, and one fork goes down to the southern hemisphere. The other fork goes right up across Central America. See, it just forks and joins up with the southern hemisphere. So that's very frightening. We'll look at sea ice and snow cover in a moment. Here's sea surface temperature anomaly. We still have browns around Svalbard. And look, we're getting some reds here at the southern tip of Greenland. Reds in North Atlantic. Gulf of Mexico, it's getting reds now. See, it's brown around most of Australia, and then it's going red between Australia and New Zealand here in the Tasman Sea. Worldwide, we're up 0.3 C higher than normal. The northern hemisphere is up 0.4 C. The North Atlantic is up 0.6 C. The North Pacific is up 0.3 C. The southern hemisphere is up 0.2 C. And the equatorial Pacific is down 0.2 C. So there's that. I'm going to close these out. Now we'll move on to sea ice. I don't think I need those. Okay, we're going to start with this slideshow. These are images that I downloaded from Climate Reanalyzer. Here we are today on sea ice and snow cover for the Arctic. The Hudson Bay is almost filled back in now, and it's still struggling here in the Baffin Bay. We've got a little bit of regrowth here in the Barents Sea. The Kara Sea is filled up now, and it's coming back along this Russia coastline. Still open for a lot of the Barents Sea and around two sides of Svalbard. It's regrowing here in the Bering Sea and here in the Okhotsk Sea around Russia. So let's go back to last Sunday. Here we were on the 19th, and I'll just click through and we'll see how it's changed this week. So here's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it looks like we had some regrowth out here and then it retreated. This is in the North Barents Sea. So this is always dynamic and shifting and moving because of the weather systems and the ice drift. Okay, now we'll go through the Navy models. This is for the Arctic sea ice thickness for today. So this corresponds with what we saw in Climate Reanalyzer. We've got a little fringe of ice coming back on this west side of Novaya Zemlya. It's we've got some lavender. It's refreezing along this Russia coastline. It's still open here in most of the Barents Sea. Still open on two sides of Svalbard. And gradually creeping down in the Baffin Bay. This has been too warm for it to refreeze. We can see the Hudson Bay is almost all refilled. We've got a little wisp of ice here in the Okhotsk Sea and then here in the Bering Sea. And the purple is turning to blue. The blue is turning to aqua. And we just have a little hint of some greens and yellow and bright red. And the greens are about 3 meters thick. The yellows are about 3.5 meters thick. And the red is about 4 to 4.5 meters thick. Here's the 30-day animation. This was updated to Friday, so the forecast period goes out to next Friday. So it's just slow going here. Little fringe of ice still growing back here in the Barents Sea. We can see it thickening here, the blue going into aqua. And then the purple going into blue. Here's the Beaufort Sea Ice Thickness for Friday. We can see aqua coming back around the Alaska coastline. Little hint of red-orange here next to Canada, and some greens and yellows there. This is the Beaufort Sea here. It's just gradually thickening. It's in this blue about 1 to 1.25 meters thick. Here's the 30-day animation, updated to Friday. Just slowly, I don't see a huge amount of change there. Now we'll look at the Antarctic. This is sea ice thickness for today. We can see the Ross Sea is open. And it's open around a lot of this west side. And it's opening up here on the north end. Here's the 30-day animation, updated to Friday. So you can see it's in high melt. So there's that. Now, this is the latest data from the National Snow and Ice Data Center. This info is from yesterday, the 25th. This is sea ice concentration in the Arctic. And this corresponds with what we saw in the other models. Here's the graph for sea ice extent. The blue line is this year, the dotted line is 2012. So we can see it's above 2012 now, still below the gray line, which is average. Now here's the Antarctic sea ice concentration. We see all this open area. See. And here's their sea ice extent graph. This blue line, it's still nosediving. That's this year. This kind of greenish line is last year. The gray line is average. Now, according to this chart, see, last year it was kind of so here we're kind of parallel with what it was doing last year, but we're still quite a bit lower. And that's all of those. Now, we'll move on to NASA Worldview. Here we are in the Arctic today. This black area is where it's all in the dark. But the days are getting longer now. We had our winter solstice on the 21st, which was Tuesday. So that was the shortest day of the year for the northern hemisphere, longest day of the year for the southern hemisphere. We'll turn on this sea ice concentration layer, and I'll turn on the blue marble layer. Here we are today. See, it's showing little wisp of ice here just south of Greenland. See the red here in this ice in the Baffin Bay. Now this had been more concentrated earlier this week, but there was a lot of warm air over Greenland and the Baffin Bay this week, so I think that took a toll on the ice there. So let's go back to last Sunday, which was the 19th, and see what's happened. See, it was more white there in the Baffin Bay last Sunday. So we'll just go through. Here's Monday, Tuesday. See it starts breaking up there on Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. So it's all dynamic, just depending on the ice drift and the weather systems. That's what we've got right now. We're not even going to bother with the nighttime layer. It's not very good for the last few days. So now let's go down to the Antarctic and we'll take a tour down here. We'll start down here in the Ross Sea. This is the southern end. This is the Ross Ice Shelf. Now there's a big cloud over it, but this is open. Here's a little bit of ice left on this eastern side. Here's Ross Island. This is Mount Erebus volcano. But look at all that open water. See? And see, it's melted up around the coastline, a lot of it. Look at this. Now, this is the Thwaites Glacier. We've got a little bit of cloud cover up there. See how this is breaking up? This is the sea ice around the tongue. This is the tongue. And see, it goes all the way down. And see all those little white dots? That's ice breaking off. So this is in high melt. And here's a hole opening up there. Let's see. So here's that hole without any clouds right there. There we go, the 23rd. That's a good view. That's breaking up. And this is the Pine Island Glacier up here. This is sea ice. We can see it's melting up here. This is where it had capped off, and we got a big hole on this west side too. Now this ice is melting. So that was the 23rd, 24th, 25th. There's yesterday, and here it is today. We'll come on around. See, there's sea ice. Here's the Western Peninsula. Now we got a lot of clouds over this today. This is the Larsen C ice shelf. And Larsen B, what's left of it. And what Larsen A used to be up here. Now I wanted to show on the 23rd, here's this iceberg A76 that we're following. This had broken off down here, and see the big hole, and this was right before it went dark for their last winter, and then it's rotated around, it's moving out, so it's right up here. Can't really, you can barely make it out through the clouds there. So we've got a lot of clouds, see all the ice breaking up there. Here's yesterday. Here's the Larsen Sea. This is sea ice. Here's what's left of the Larsen B. And here was the Larsen A. So this is all the Weddell Sea. This is, let's see. So yesterday is a better view. Right down here is the Brunt Ice Shelf. There had been a big thing of sea ice here. That's broken off. See, that's all moved out. It's breaking off here. See? Let's go back to today. Here's the north end. This is the Amory Ice Shelf. This is on the east side. This is ice here. Let's see, it's cracking. It will be melting. It's quite thin. Here's the east side. And the southern. Now right down here, this is the Toten Glacier. We can look at that. This is a good view yesterday. See the tongue, you can see the crack. See, it's you can make it out all the way across, but it's still cracking there. Back to today. And we're back to where we started. So there's that. Now we'll look at some earthquakes. These are the last 24 hours on USGS. Here's a 4.6 northern mid-Atlantic ridge. So 157 worldwide. We had a big one here in the South Pacific, a 6.1 near Levuka, Fiji. 639 kilometers deep. That's unbelievably deep, and a large one, so that will cause movement, plate movement. Also, this Juan de Fuca plate, we've had swarming here this week near Petrolia. Right now, we've got two just south of the plate, 4.0 and a 3.3. Now, if I turn on all magnitudes for the last 7 days, you'll see. Look at this. All right at the base of this Juan de Fuca plate, this is where the San Andreas fault line joins it. This is a fulcrum point where a lot of pressure is. There were 156 here this week, and had some pretty big ones. I can't remember the largest. Let's see. 6.2, that's right. Now this happened on the 20th, which was Monday. It came in just after noon, 12:10 in the afternoon. And it started out with a 4.0 that same day at 6:25 in the morning. But boom, just got hit with that 6.2. And so these are all aftershocks from that. Mainly 2s and 3s. We've had some 4s in there. But to see this kind of movement is pretty frightening. You gotta wonder about this Cascadia subduction zone. You know, how much closer is that to going now with all of this activity? Here was 4.4 up on the Juan de Fuca plate. So 1,721 earthquakes worldwide this last week. And see, here's a big one on the Cocos plate, 6.0. That was on the 22nd. Right on the north end. So 2 days later, after this 6.2 on the north end of San Andreas fault line, and then on the southern end we've got 6.0 2 days later. Iceland had an earthquake, 4.9, and see all this movement. It's amazing we're still here. So that's my report for tonight. And I'll finish the show bringing it back to spiritual outlook. We're reading out of the Bible, out of the book of John. This is the story of Jesus' life. The words in red are Jesus' words. John chapter 12. Then Jesus, 6 days before the Passover, came to Bethany, where Lazarus was, which had been dead, whom he raised from the dead. There they made him a supper, and Martha served. But Lazarus was one of them that sat at the table with him. Then took Mary a pound of ointment of spikenard, very costly, and anointed the feet of Jesus, and wiped his feet with her hair, and the house was filled with the odor of the ointment. Then saith one of his disciples, Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, which should betray him. Why was not this ointment sold for 300 pence, and given to the poor? This he said, not that he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief, and had the bag, and bare what was put therein. Then said Jesus, Let her alone. Against the day of my burying hath she kept this. For the poor always ye have with you, but me ye have not always. Much people of the Jews therefore knew that he was there, and they came not for Jesus' sake alone, but that they might see Lazarus also, whom he had raised from the dead. But the chief priests consulted that they might put Lazarus also to death, because that by reason of him many of the Jews went away and believed on Jesus. On the next day much people that were come to the feast, when they heard that Jesus was coming to Jerusalem, took branches of palm trees, and went forth to meet him, and cried, Hosanna! Blessed is the King of Israel that cometh in the name of the Lord. And Jesus, when he had found a young ass, sat thereon, as it is written, Fear not, daughter of Sion. Behold, thy King cometh, sitting on an ass's colt. These things understood not his disciples at the first, but when Jesus was glorified, then remembered they that these things were written of him, and that they had done these things unto him. The people therefore that was with him when he called Lazarus out of his grave, and raised him from the dead, bear record. For this cause the people also met him, for that they heard that he had done this miracle. The Pharisees therefore said among themselves, Perceive ye how ye prevail nothing? Behold, the world is gone after him. And there were certain Greeks among them that came up to worship at the feast. The same came therefore to Philip, which was of Bethsaida of Galilee, and desired him, saying, Sir, we would see Jesus. Philip cometh and telleth Andrew, and again Andrew and Philip tell Jesus. And Jesus answered them, saying, The hour is come, that the Son of Man should be glorified. Verily, verily, I say unto you, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone. But if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit. He that loveth his life shall lose it, and he that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal. If any man serve me, let him follow me, and where I am, there shall also my servant be. If any man serve me, him will my Father honor. Now is my soul troubled, and what shall I say? Father, save me from this hour. But for this cause came I unto this hour. Father, glorify thy name. Then came there a voice from heaven, saying, I had both glorified it, and will glorify it again. The people therefore that stood by and heard it said that it thundered. Others said, An angel spake to him. Jesus answered and said, This voice came not because of me, but for your sakes. Now is the judgment of this world. Now shall the prince of this world be cast out. And I, if I be lifted up from the earth, will draw all men unto me. This he said, signifying what death he should die. The people answered him, We have heard out of the law that Christ abideth forever. And how sayest thou, The Son of Man must be lifted up? Who is this Son of Man? Then Jesus said unto them, Yet a little while is the light with you. Walk while ye have the light, lest darkness come upon you. For he that walketh in darkness knoweth not whither he goeth. While ye have light, believe in the light, that ye may be the children of light. These things spake Jesus, and departed, and did hide himself from them. But though he had done so many miracles before them, yet they believed not on him, that the saying of Esaias the prophet might be fulfilled, which he spake, Lord, who hath believed our report, and to whom hath the arm of the Lord been revealed? Therefore they could not believe, because that Esaias said again, He hath blinded their eyes, and hardened their heart, that they should not see with their eyes, nor understand with their heart, and be converted, and I should heal them. These things said Esaias, when he saw his glory, and spake of him. Nevertheless, among the chief rulers also many believed on him, but because of the Pharisees they did not confess him, lest they should be put out of the synagogue, for they loved the praise of men more than the praise of God. Jesus cried and said, He that believeth on me, believeth not on me, but on him that sent me. And he that seeth me, seeth him that sent me. I am come a light into the world, that whosoever believeth on me should not abide in darkness. And if any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not, for I came not to judge the world, but to save the world. He that rejecteth me, and receiveth not my words, hath one that judgeth him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. For I have not spoken of myself, but the Father which sent me. He gave me a commandment, what I should say, and what I should speak. And I know that his commandment is life everlasting. Whatsoever I speak therefore, even as the Father said unto me, so I speak. John chapter 12. So it's getting darker as we move forward, and I encourage you, if you haven't given your life to Jesus Christ, to do so now before it's too late. People need to go ahead and make their choice. They need to go ahead and start having that personal relationship with Jesus, so that He can be with them and protect and guide them in these dark days coming. So I hope everyone has a safe week, a good week. I love you all, and I'm praying for you. Until next time, God bless you. Go in peace, and I will talk to you soon. Good night.